cameo appearance that he had in his Hollywood era. All right. Now, speaking of Hogan and his Hollywood era, this brings us to the scandals, because it's known that Netflix was going to produce a biopic of Terry. What was his last name? Terry
Bollea.
Of Hulk Hogan, and it's now being canceled. We're going to get into that, but before we get into that, I want to run down real fast some of the little hiccups along the way in the career of Hulk Hogan that led to what the current events going on. Babe, you mind? Let's run down some of these topics.
As early as 1985, we've got the Rock and Wrestling incident, that Hogan faced backlash for allegedly overshadowing other wrestlers and causing tension backstage during the peak of WWF's Rock and Wrestling Connection era.
I don't remember much of that, because that was back when I was a kid. I wasn't even looking for scandals and stuff like that. Hogan could do no wrong back then, so that was something that I never would have known was even happening. I don't remember that much of that at all. Does anybody recall that?
I wouldn't have. I mean, I was a small child and whatnot watching that, so.
Yeah, I don't believe I remember anything about that either. One thing, I mean, that was a different era. That was a different era. There was no social media. You did not have the media exposure of these type of incidents.
Didn't get around as much.
And with this being an internal conflict, this was probably an internal scandal that never really probably saw a lot of day. But probably also ruffled a whole lot of internal feathers.
Oh yeah, most definitely. What was the next one?
The WrestleMania 9 controversy.
Hogan unexpectedly win of the WWF Championship at WrestleMania 9 was met with mixed reaction, as many felt undetermined the rise of that era. It was determined the rising stars are still feeding into this. We're kind of over it, and there's all these new stars. So I don't even know why that's even considered scandal. I thought I highlighted actual other types of scandal, but say in 2011. The late Ultimate Warrior released a hate-filled attack against his former rival Hulk Hogan, claiming the wrestler icon is a cocaine-abusing dopehead who once tried to get the Warrior to have sex with his wife. I remember that rant. When he was still alive, he went off on Hogan. I mean, he was airing all types of grievances. And it was on YouTube, and I was and it was weird, because then a little bit later he was still invited back to come back to the WWE. It seemed like he kind of got over it all and he was almost gonna. I think he was gonna have another kind of a short run before officially retiring, but it never really happened, because then he passed away right after that. I think it was a heart attack. It was weird. It was like as out of nowhere, because it was Hogan. To me, it was Hogan and Ultimate Warrior. Those were the two main guys. So I'm not surprised that there was backstage animosity between the two. But I remember that day when that video dropped on YouTube. I was like, wow, that's. I mean, he didn't look bad. He was still in great shape for at his age. But I was so used to the makeup on his face but the things that he was just letting it all out.
Yeah, I mean, dropping all the dirty laundry.
The laundry was so dirty. I mean, I'm telling you, it would have gone more viral today if this was in the TikTok in the TikTok era.
Absolutely,
it would have been more viral. Number 3, the Gawker lawsuit, 2012-2016. Hogan filed a lawsuit against Gawker Media for publishing a spicy tape featuring him, which concluded with a $140 million verdict for Hogan. That was a payday.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Interesting story behind that one as well. So, that was an unfortunate thing for him, because that was infidelity calling video. That was ultimately kind of a setup. Yeah, he was kind of set up for that, and he definitely
financially benefited from that.
But hard to say how much of it could it have cost his career versus how much did he make. But yeah, there was that was a little dent in the armor, for sure.
He still, I mean, it was the embarrassment of it, and he rose above it. I remember that one. I was like, wow. I mean, like I didn't want to see any of that crap. I was like, hey, I don't want to see a spicy video with Hulk Hogan. But I was like, but what stood out to me mostly was the amount of money he won. I wonder, did he get that payout, or is it still kind of? Did he get it? I mean, if they don't pay, what happens? I'm like, did he actually get a check for it?
A lot of times, if it's a company, I mean, if they don't have 140, you can still take them for what they do. Like, you can liquidate and bankrupt,
They can
but
liquidate their assets.
if all they had is 50 million, then that's all you're going to get.
Exactly.
Yeah, so a little bit of the backstory on that one. It was the lady who he slept with, husband, who kind of set that up and released the video. Through Gawker, and so he was part of the lawsuits as well.
Make sure it's
Bubba the Love Sponge.
What a name!
I mean, if you're gonna be in the biz, that's the name I'm gonna take. I'm thinking now. From now on, I want to be called that. From now on,
The Love Sponge.
The Love Sponge. You like that? Huh? You like that?
Oh, that makes me laugh.
Bubba the way he dropped it too. Bubba the Love Sponge. Out of nowhere. By the way, Bubba the Love Sponge. Just like that name means nothing. I just felt like saying it. The racism controversy 2015, a leaked tape reveals Hogan made racist comments leading to his termination from WWE. This one I really remember. Went on a rant because his daughter, Brooke Hogan, at the time, who was launching her music career. I think was she dating officially, or was she just hanging out with a lot of? What think her boyfriend was a rapper or something like that in the music industry? And he went on this whole long. That was when a lot of people like oh my God, this is breaking my heart. But like I said, if you grew up with wrestlers the way I did and getting the inside, like the guy I mentioned earlier, the person that my mom dated, who was better known as Ahmed Johnson, he told us all the time, like, there's a lot of racism that happens behind the scenes that you will never know about. He didn't name names, but he's like, but basically he was saying, whoever your favorite hero is, that guy's probably a dick in your life.
Brianna Jasmine pointed out, she feels that the cracks started to come through the facade. You started to really see the problems. It would have been 2007, because that is when his son had a horrific car accident for driving under the influence and racing. He was like 16, and the friend that was with him was pretty much disabled for the rest of his life. And they sued the Hogans.
You think that was the beginning of the
They were on that, at that time also, it was in 2007, they were on that reality show. They had the Hogans from 2005 to 2007, and then the show ended after that. There was such controversy and backlash from seeing that. Because his children were part of that reality show. Yeah. His son and his daughter and his wife were all on that.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, but I remember. I don't know if you watched it or not, the Hogan, but I remember hearing about it. But
I do remember seeing the show a few times, but I had totally forgotten all about that accident. Brianna's the one that pointed that out. I had to look it up.
Well, and what's leading to the main topic, pretty much number 5 on the list. What do we got, babe?
There was to be a Hulk Hogan biopic titled Hulk, being produced by Netflix. The project was set to be directed by Todd Phillips, known for directing Joker, and Chris Hemsworth was cast to portray Hulk Hogan. The film aimed to chronicle the life of the wrestling icon, exploring his rise to fame and the impact of his career. However, the project faced challenges and was reportedly put on hold. The cancellation was influenced by various factors, including creative differences and shifts and Netflix's focus regarding biographical films. And now there's speculation as well.
So the speculation, because it came right around the time when this, right here, let me pause it, I guess, right here, with this moment happened right here. So, okay, I'll just read it verbatim. Earlier this month, comments were made about presidential candidate Vice President Kamala Harris during a promotional event for Hogan's new beer at a bar, joking about body slamming her in front of the crowd. Do you want me to body slam her? I had to do the voice. I had to do it. But you want me to body slam Kamala Harris, referring to another wrestling move? Do you want me to drop the leg on Kamala, questioning her racial identity? Is Kamala a chameleon? Is she Indian? And then he stayed. After that, he went like how? But that's a reference to Native Americans. I was like, if you're gonna be
not only is it derogatory, but you also have the wrong.
It's just be accurate. I was like, at least be accurate. Using an outdated and stereotypical greeting associated with Native American Indians, acknowledging that he might get some heat for that one, implying his awareness of potential backlash, stating, that was not me, that was the beer talking. But I know my Hogan sounds more macho man, but I just can't help it. Implying that his comments were influenced by alcohol. And you brought up something interesting about the fact that it's kind of odd that he would be sponsoring a beer, right?
Yes, he is, you see a little bit of a habit of every time he has a big PR problem, you see where he tries to does a little bit of damage control and does some public service stuff and some promotion of charity items, stuff like that, to try and help recover. And he's also been talking about his sobriety. So because there was definitely a lot of issues with substance and drug abuse throughout his career.
Yeah.
And he's really promoting sobriety. That's odd when you're talking about running a bar and such, but but each his own.
So I was about to say, but such is life.
Yeah.
But let's get right down to it before I know we're a little over time right now, but let's get into it. This happened right before the announcement that his biopic was canceled. I remember seeing little bits of nuggets here and there. You see Chris Hemsworth, like this picture that's right here. A lot of set photos coming out, photos of him working out. He got into you thought he was in Thor shape. Thor shape was nothing compared to how he's jacked up now for Hogan shape. I mean, those arms were already huge, but what he got himself up to get to that, what do you call it, the 37-inch pythons, brother. The 37. He got he got himself there. And if I was Chris Hemsworth, I would be ever so pissed because that is not easy to do. But it's not now. They say that it was production hell. And I mean, it's just probably true. It was a nightmare getting it done. There was too many hiccups in the road. But I think this was the straw that broke the camel's back on going. Let's pull this plug. Let's just go. What do you think? What do you think about that speculation of why?
I mean,
they decided to cancel.
Chris Hemsworth, I'd be mad. Zac Efron has made statements in the past about trying to get in shape for some of these movies he's done and saying, I won't do it again. It's hell on your body, and it's just too much.
You see, you can kind of tell by the way Hemsworth addressed it. He wanted to do this role. You can tell he's somewhat of a fan, so I can see where he's probably a little bummed because he obviously this is not a role that you would just want to jump on, right?
Yeah.
So
I really want to see this.
Yeah, he probably had a little bit of passion to try and make this happen.
Yeah.
As far as the cancellation goes, I mean, you can look back through a laundry list of faux pas on the part of Hogan that would have, in the modern era, would get anyone canceled.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a laundry list. We touched on a few of the scandals.
Yeah.
There are a lot worse that probably very unpleasant to talk about.
Right.
That were political suicide.
Yeah.
So for them to want to dodge that does not surprise me at all.
And I think for the most part, and by the way, hi to Resident Evil AMC says hi, hello friends. I think a lot of it had to do with the more than just legacy, just the respect of what he did for the. I think even outside of the WWE, as one of those Hulkamaniacs who believed, I overlooked and ignored as many scandals as I could handle. But once they got darker and more and more, I'm not saying that what he said about Kamala Harris was what the straw that broke the camel's back for me. It was. For me, it was. I mean, I guess I got to use the. I used the line, didn't I? I forgot it.
For me,
it was the leaked audio, because I heard a bunch of wrestlers who were saying, I've witnessed a WWE superstar say something racist, and as I was in the front row of an event, I've seen it. So I knew that it happened, but I knew it was possible. I didn't want to believe it, but that was the glass ceiling. I guess that's what shattered me. That sound effect in the back of my brain. That I was like, damn it. So I gave him a lot. I gave him a lot of passes, a lot of free range because of the fact that I was a Hulkamaniac. But then as a man, I was like, oh damn, I gotta jump off. You know what? Stone Cold is better anyway. And it's funny because those characters like that, there's a lot more anti-heroes in WWE now. Characters who are free to, they kind of still act like bad guys in a way. I forgot what the term is for it, when you're not really a hero, you're not really a heel, but you're like right there in the middle. And I think it works better for people because it's like, you know what? I can still be a dick, and if you find out that I'm a dick in real life, you're like, well, it's Stone Cold.
We already knew it. He's been.
He's been a dick all along. So it's not that much of a shock. But when you're a John Cena, but it's funny because John Cena started off as a heel. So even if John Cena were to turn bad again or do something shocking or whatever, that wouldn't have hurt John Cena as much, because it would have been a complete departure of what he built after the fact. But we've seen it. But when Hogan went heel, it was a shock to everyone. When he turned into Hollywood Hulk Hogan, that shocked everybody. No one thought it would ever happen. So this whole thing with long story short, I guess that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I honestly think that was for Netflix the straw that broke the camel's back. They knew that they could power forward with so much, but when you have the unforced errors with these scandals happening on top of production nightmare stuff happening, it's like, you know what, maybe it's just not worth it. I honestly feel like I was surprised that this was even going to Netflix. I felt like this would have done well in theaters. Maybe I'm wrong, but I was very curious to see with Chris Hemsworth. I was very curious to seeing this happen. And you know what? Now that I'm thinking about, because we talked about Arnold Schwarzenegger. With Suburban, with Last Action Hero and stuff like that. You know what I just remembered? Arnold Schwarzenegger is on the board of directors. He is in charge of Netflix action movies. He's on the board he is the guy. He is the head guy helping Netflix with for the action movie part of Netflix. He's the guy. So I'm pretty sure he was the one who was like, yes, greenlight it. That's my buddy. Let's do it. He's still mad that my Last Action Hero made his. It's what was that movie called? Tropic Thunder, whatever that movie was. I crushed him in the box office, but I would help him. I would give him his own biopic. I'm pretty sure, because I feel like people still kind of want to be in the Hogan business. Your personal politics aside, I don't care who he supports, but I'm just disappointed that after all these years, after all the chances, the second chance, the reigniting of your career, that with all the stumbles that you clearly laid out, and people still find a way to fumble the bag.
Yeah, it's obviously the guy's got some problems with impulse control.
Yeah, keep your shirt on, brother.
And he everyone kind of knows someone like this, right?
Yeah,
they just can't keep their mouth shut. And they make stupid decisions sometimes, and and it usually comes back to bite them. You know, you're like, oh man, poor guy, you know. But at the same time, it's like, dude, why could you not just keep it together, man? So, you know,
I missed it.
You make your own bed.
What was it? I'm trying to pull it up here. Yeah, because just basically just said because he's a racist coward. Yeah. Breonna Taylor says, I started following the Hogans in middle school because of their show. That was why like Joy doesn't watch. I'm the wrestling fan in the house. Joy, but when the WWE started to take reality TV more seriously, I was like, it works. There was another friend of mine. She doesn't watch wrestling at all, but she loved to watch like Total Divas, like bridging, introducing these wrestlers into these other mediums has worked very well for WWE.
I didn't watch the Hogan reality show like as a faithful, like, oh, I watched it, but I think a lot of times those shows would get aired on like VH1 or MTV, and you would hear reruns and different things. So I would catch it here and there, and it would have a lot of humor in it because, you know, you've got, you know, people that, you know, you saw his face growing up. Oh, here he's got teenage kids and his wife, and, you know, his teenagers putting him through dad stuff, you know, here, put on this silly hat and an outfit, you know, doing funny things that you're like, oh, that's so, I can relate, that's funny, haha.
Stallone's had a reality show too, right? With him and his daughters, or something?
A lot of guys have done that older with like their kids, a lot of like rappers and but yes, I think Stallone has done it.
Yeah. You know what would be the best reality show right now with one of those old school guys? The Schwarzeneggers. But you know that's never gonna happen. That would be so juicy. Like first episode, like, all right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Like, really? The maid. But that's just me trying to start trouble. Moving down. Oh, well, what were we talking about? Wait, it says RMJ movie review says very disappointed as a 42-year-old who grew up with him in the 80s. Yeah, it let a lot of people down. That's why I like that's why I like the new faces of companies like these Stone Colds, these guys that they act like jerks on screen, and so they have a little bit more leeway.
You're Ron Riffle. I think some of this was about the scandal stuff. Hulk told Vince about Jesse Ventura trying to form a union.
What was
that was when we were talking about scandals, like his, but I don't know which one that was in reference
says that?
to. Ron Riffle.
Hulk told. Okay, I found it here. Hulk told Vince about Jesse Ventura trying to form a union. Hulk told. I think it was like during the time when Hogan, where the WWE was in court a lot. Like the back when we were talking about maybe the backstabbing. I think if Ron, if that's what you're talking about, I don't know much about about Jesse Ventura, the scandal with him and Vince. I know that Jesse became a governor, if I'm not mistaken. He called himself Jesse the Mind Ventura because he been on his wrestling career. It was Jesse the Body Ventura. He was in politics for a long time. Maybe that's I don't know much about that riff, but I'm gonna have to look into it. He also says it was Bubba the Love Sponge wire, not Warrior. Bubba the Love Sponge's Wire.
Yeah, Bubba the Love Sponge was at the surveillance video they called the sex tape.
Okay. Ain't no way Thor. This is from Brianna Jasmine. Ain't no way Thor could play him in a biopic. Laugh out loud. I'm bummed because it would have been juicy just to watch.
Brianna also said just now, I'd love to be a fly on the wall at the Schwarzenegger house.
Oh man, dude was married to a Kennedy, man. Talk about fumbling the bag. Beetlejuice. So stay tuned, guys. Till next time. Have a good one. Thank you guys for watching our video. I really do appreciate it. Remember, you can support our show by becoming a member or a patron. So click the subscribe button. Don't forget to ring the bell for notifications so you'll never miss out on when we go live or post new content. Let's stay connected, grow this community together. Like, subscribe, comment, and let's keep talking.